Hey, and welcome to Mini Quibble. My name's Tom. In this video, I'll be showing you how I turn old, broken, or unwanted minis into crumbling statues that can be used as objective markers in games of Warhammer 40k. As you can see, I've done it on Space Marines here, but really, you can do it on any model you like. And at the end, I'll show you some other examples that I've done recently. So first of all, I'm taking some 40mm bases, and then using some Contactor Professional plastic cement, attaching the original 32mm base of the model onto the 40mm base. 40mm is the required base size for objective markers in games of 40k 9th edition, but I also like the fact that by putting the 32mm on the 40mm, it looks like a statue on a plinth. Plinth. Now, using a variety of tools, I'm just going to snip and chip and cut away at the model to make it look like a crumbling statue from antiquity. Apologies to Games Workshop sculptors. Now, if you need any inspiration, you can head on to Google Images and look up some ancient Egyptian or Greek or Roman statues. Oh, he's got an arm off. And try and emulate those. Really, there's no limit here to how much damage you could add. You just do your worst. Now, admittedly, they look pretty terrible at this point, but we'll fix it. Time to add some skulls. I like to add a skull to reflect the number of the objective marker itself. So 1 skull for objective 1, 2 skulls for objective 2, there's 3, and there's number 6. Maybe it's some kind of weird sacrificial offering to the statues, or maybe it's just for decoration. I think it looks nice anyway. Liquid green stuff time. My liquid green stuff is no longer a liquid because I left the cap off one time, so I have to mix it with water whenever I use it. I'm just brushing that all over the model. It'll give it a nice rough texture for when we're doing the dry brushing later. And now we wait for them to dry. And we wait some more. Oh, they're dry. And now to add some rubble. First of all, get the cheapest PVA glue you can possibly find.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Using PVA glue, I stick some ground decaf coffee around the base of the statue to look like bits that have sort of crumbled off and gathered around the base over time. You don't have to use decaf, but make sure you bake the coffee first so it doesn't go all mouldy. We've done liquid green stuff, now it's solid green stuff. I put this anywhere where the damage is more extensive, and I use a rock to push into the green stuff and give it a more natural looking texture. Sort of like that Egyptian thing there. Okay, they're ready to prime. Take some generic black and grey spray paint cans. I do a solid coat of black and then a lighter coat of the grey on top. Then I mix up a quick wash of Narn oil, water and Larmian medium and wash that all over the model to tone it down and darken the recessed areas. I don't even bother dabbing off the excess, I just sort of slap it on and then wait for it to dry. And then I get bored waiting, so I do this. My first dry brush is with Celestial Grey, so here I am using a nice wide flat brush with most of the paint rubbed into a paper towel there, and I'm just going around the model a few times trying to pick out all of those raised areas on the mini and also on the base as well. After a few minutes, maybe 5 or 6 minutes per model, it starts to look pretty good. To be honest, if you were in a rush, you could probably just call these done. But I like to do another layer of dry brushing with a lighter grey, this time the Wolf Grey from Vallejo. So I'm doing the same thing as before, but with even less paint on the brush and trying to be a bit more selective with the details that I'm picking out. I'm putting more of a focus on the top parts of the Space Marine here, and then when it comes to the base, just trying to pick out only the rubble. A few minutes later, and they're not looking too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Now for the skulls, I'll base them with 2 thin coats of Steel Legion Drab. It's my favourite colour for basing any bone when painting minis. You've got to be careful, of course, not to get any of that on the base, but if you do, you can just rub it off before it dries. And I follow that up with an Agrax Earthshade and Lamian Medium Wash. Again, just to darken it down and fill in the recesses, but this time I will actually dab off the excess so it doesn't stain. And finally, some more dry brushing, this time with Screaming Skull, and using a small flat brush. And it starts to look pretty bony pretty quickly.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Now using an even smaller brush, just to add some final touches. Now again, you probably could just leave it here, but there is one final thing that I like to add. Taking Mephiston Red and a small brush, I add numerals to each of the statues. And here you find out that I'm actually not very good at painting. Oh well. Anyway, the idea is that it looks a bit like graffiti, so it doesn't really matter if it's too sloppy. And there I'm just putting in a brighter red into the middle to sell that spray paint effect a bit more. And with that, I think we're done. Now, my footage here isn't the best, but I've already given these away as a gift, so too late for redos. And here are some retro Ork Boyz that I've given the same treatment. I actually prefer how these turned out, and I think the monopose nature kind of reminds me of gargoyles or terracotta warriors or something, so yeah, I think they're pretty cool. Here are some other ones I've done using spare dice. And that's it. That's how I make custom objective markers for games of 40k. If you do this on any of your old models, then please let me know in the comments or tag me with your work on Instagram, and I would love to check out what you come up with. It's the end now, so thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again one day. Ow, I banged my knuckle.